All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our second last volume review for what is the second last volume of the Walking Dead comic book series, volume 31, The Rotten Core. Alright, impossible spoiler warning for the Walking Dead comic book series if you have not read it all the way through until its very end. So this is it, guys. We're coming right down the wire now for our final two reviews for the Walking Dead volumes. This will be the 32nd volume, which is Rest in Peace, the final volume of the Walking Dead. Bigger, so that one, so this review is just to come. Tomorrow I guess we'll do that one, and then today we'll do volume 31, The Rotten Core, which is the second last of the Walking Dead volumes. And man, it's been a lot of fun with you guys doing these over the years. So this is 31, and then tomorrow's final video for the volume reviews will be the 32nd volume of the Walking Dead comic book series to finish up the series. Fully reviewed for you guys, reviews for every single volume in the channel. You can watch them anytime you want to, now and going forward. So the second last volume of The Walking Dead. So we got the red volume here, very cool. Surprising to see that the series did not end with a red volume. And the Rest in Peace was actually, green here, but the Rotten Core. So this is a really strange one to go ahead and look back on to review, because during this time, we were under the impression that The Walking Dead was going to be another probably 5 or 10 years. We did not think at any point in time that we had no inkling, we had no indication that this was going to be the second last volume of the Walking Dead comic book series. We really had no idea. It was not really until the day before the final issue hit with Rest in Peace here that we had actually found out that The Walking Dead is in fact ending. Like what? And we'll get to that tomorrow when we look at this one, because it's a long volume with 32. And man, it's when I look at it in this format instead of looking at it in the issue format, man, does it ever feel disjointed with the time skip in this one. But we'll get into that tomorrow. So this is the final volume for Dwight. Spoiler warning, of course. We see basically things go through here in this one at the Commonwealth. And again, it felt like the Commonwealth storyline was just getting started. We were getting to meet different characters in the Commonwealth. We just recently met Lance. Michonne's living at the Commonwealth, and we get to meet some of the different people there. Dwight doesn't like the Commonwealth because to him, he gets the impression that people are living with a boot on their neck, or they're living with someone over them, similar to kind of how the things were with the Saviors, and how it was for Dwight being part of Negan's Saviors and not being able to really have an opinion or have a voice, and just being under a tyrant. And so we see that here. Like, for example, we have Carl meets Joshua here, which is just like, what's the point of that now? This is really, it just feels like some of the stuff in it is like whatever. So, okay, so we have Rick and Pamela. Rick takes Pamela to some of the different locations on somewhat of a tour, and we've got Mercer and the others. We have kind of all these different things happening at the Commonwealth. Here's a whole bunch of walkers here in a huge zombie herd. And, so they're going to Oceanside and everything, and you have some dangers. The walkers kind of come through, and they were not telegraphed, and so we have some craziness come in, but we have the survivors kind of killing them off and putting them down. You have Princess and Mercer fighting side by side, which again, characters that were introduced and then cut very short. When you look at the overall kind of picture of things. So you have Dwight. This is nicely done because he's still kind of the leader of the military of the survivors, and you have Mercer with Pamela and the Commonwealth and everything, and we're just kind of going around here in terms of the series being over now. I mean, certain things stand out as important here. They go to the kingdom, right? And certain things really don't. kind of like in hindsight, it's kind of like, okay, this matters, that doesn't. Here's Rick and Carl hugging, which is really cool. I like to see that one, to look back on that, just to see them kind of, having some moments here together, and that's important. So good stuff there. We got Maggie, and let's see here. So them going back to the Commonwealth, and Michonne killing some different walkers. Okay, so we have Greenville, right? So they're going to Greenville, which of course they kind of they kind of went to, and then they went kind of back later on, right? With Pamela, and she brings some forces with her, and then we have kind of things falling apart at the Commonwealth. Michonne defending. Let's see here. The incident with the soldiers, and everybody kind of losing it, and then Pamela comes back to the whole place just in chaos, and they pretty much are getting order back. They're getting things done, but Dwight knows that things are not right here, and they have what we kind of find out is sort of a unfair class system at the Commonwealth, and that you have kind of the rich and sort of people somewhat being maybe a little bit above the law, like the soldiers and whatnot. And Dwight wants to do something about it, and Rick is just like, no, please, no, we're not doing this again. We're not getting in some kind of war or something like this again. Rick just doesn't want to have absolutely any part of it, even though he might agree that everybody should be treated equal, that kind of thing, because that's how they kind of do things. But it's not something that he wants to kind of fight over. Dwight ends up in their jail because Dwight's kind of fighting around with people and causing trouble because he's not accepting of kind of the way they do things at the Commonwealth. And then you've got argument between Michonne and Dwight, and then the end ends in a very exciting confrontation, which I think most of us will remember because it was pretty shocking when Pamela comes through and Dwight, because Michonne told. And then Dwight kind of loses it and pulls the gun on Pamela here, which we saw in kind of Dwight's last moments here. And then very shockingly, Rick decides to shoot Dwight, and then says that maybe he just made the wrong decision. And Laura is very upset about it because of obviously Dwight being killed and everything. Did I just join the wrong side in one? Yeah, so you avoided a war. So they kind of avoid a war here by killing Dwight. And then, of course, what happens afterwards with Rick and everything we've seen in the next volume. So quite the huge shift from where we were at this point in the Walking Dead series to where things ended up in this one. And I got to say that, I'm just disappointed that it had to end so abruptly, and it kind of went so fast from what it felt like in this one was building to something really good. Like you had Dwight's death in kind of very unsuspecting fashion. A lot of us were really upset about it. It was shocking and everything. But, for Rick to do that and go against Dwight and what was happening there, and actually kill Dwight to protect Pamela, and then Pamela turning out to kind of be an idiot in the next one, and her wanting to almost kill Rick, and then it ended up getting Rick killed after. It's just, man, really crazy how things went. But by itself, stand alone, I think this is a really exciting volume right up until the last page with Dwight, and everything's shocking. And for Dwight, not one that, I expected to see at all. And I was, at this time, really enjoying seeing where things at the Commonwealth were building up towards, where they were going. And very shocked to see just a lot of shocking moments in this one. And then equally in this one with Rick and what happens with him. It kind of just comes out of nowhere. And it doesn't, as you're reading it through, it doesn't quite feel natural. But, I guess that's how he wanted it, was so that it was so unexpected and just something that you could not. It didn't feel like a transition to an end during this time. During this time, you're getting introduced to new characters like Joshua and stuff like this and everything. And I guess that's to a degree, you're always going to be meeting new people and you're meeting new communities, so that's normal, I guess. But it just felt like he was building to something else that was going to go a lot longer during this one, which I was liking and I was enjoying. So for this volume, I guess I'll give it a 9 out of 10 as Dwight's last one. And it was very exciting at the end and extremely unexpected. I just had to sit there in awe and think oh my God, Dwight's dead. What the hell is going on here? I did not see that coming. I thought they were kind of building to maybe another war with the Commonwealth, but nope, that's not what we're doing because we saw the Whisper War before that and we saw All Out War. So I guess he didn't want to do that again. and just went a totally different kind of route with this one that was completely unexpected. So I do love the Rotten Core by itself, Volume 31. I think it's a great volume. I just did not expect to see that so quickly go from here into here. But anyway, that'll be it for my review for the Rotten Core, because this one, it's not just a volume, but it's more about, like, by itself, it's a great volume, but it's more about, like, okay, this is the winding down. This is the second last volume of The Walking Dead, the winding down of the whole series. And during this time, there was nothing that would lead you to believe, even Dwight's death, I would say, there was really nothing in this one that would make you think that this was going to a finish or a conclusion. It didn't feel that way at all for me. But leave your comments below and let me know what you guys think in hindsight of this volume by itself. And then right after this tomorrow, we will do this one. So check back tomorrow for my review for Rest in Peace for you guys. And we'll go over the very final, the actual ending for the Walking Dead comic book series. That's it for this one, guys. See you again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.